Who's Haile Selassie? Yo, if they question and they ask, say niggas, niggas, emperor of emperors, niggas, niggas, Haile Selassie, niggas, niggas, first half and last one, niggas, niggas. If they question and they ask, say niggas, niggas, emperor of emperors, niggas, niggas, Haile Selassie, niggas, niggas, first half and last. Wow, listen. Power of the Trinity, bring the throne of glory. November 2nd, 1930, start the story. In an unconquered place called Ethiopia, in a city named Addis Ababa, Marcus Garvey said, look for the prophecy. Look to the east for the crowning king. Behold the Lion of Judah, the root of David. Direct Solomonic descendancy, throne of David in his bloodstream. Same as Yeshua, Israel, and Moses, Abraham, Noah, and Adam. Nations of the world bow down before him, 72. To witness the sacred coronating. Revelation 5 in reality. Rastafari crown, King of Kings. Negus, Negas, Haile Selassie. So if they question and they ask, say Negus, Negas, Emperor of Emperors, Negus, Negas, Haile Selassie, Negus, Negas, first half and last one, Negus, Negas.
Loud and clear. I'd like to bring everyone's attention.
The concept of STL Rasta comes from the seemingly endless quest for knowledge of self and home. It has been said the Rasta is about place. The Rasta men do the research into the abyss of self, facing the perils of the terrifying questions that defy, that burn and loot the illusions, the dark and twisted fantasies of the mind. Rasta in St. Louis. At first glance, it seems that this is as much as a mismatch as oil and water. St. Louis, Murder City, one of the top murder capitals of the nation, one of the most racially polarized cities in this disunion, a slave state with false consciousness.
Well, I don't think that you can take a universal answer, because some who speak of black separatism are talking in terms of strengthening black institutions and essentially of inviting whites to participate in a following program where blacks may lead. Those, however, who are talking about a black nation, I have nothing much that I can say except that it is nonsense, that historically it has not worked, and no program based on that philosophy, even when the program of Marcus Garvey had 2 million followers once, has been able to survive.
Death as power, then count on me in death.
Rasta, a beautiful concept which raises the consciousness of I and I to see the divinity within. Rasta, a life-transforming journey of exploration, release, and the replenishment of enduring truths and psalms of upward living, unifying antidotes that many believe lost and destroyed by the maddening, suffering theology of the time.
Look for me in the whirlwind or in the storm. Look for me all around you. For with God's grace, I shall come and bring with me countless millions of black slaves who have died in the Americas, in the West Indies, and the millions in Africa to aid you in the fight for liberty.
What's an American Rasta? An STL Rasta? More specific.
Well, we're not from the islands, unfortunately. We're all a part of that whole transforming blacks to to this part of the world. We're not we're right here in America, St. Louis, so we have a different relationship with the environment we're in compared to what our brothers and sisters deal with in those islands. Recognize we're all the same people. Slavery brought all of us to this part of the world. None of us gets showed up trying to rid ourselves from oppression from the kings or fight for them or whatever. We were all part of that systematic trade system, but we related to it different.
The throne, all of that. You know what I'm saying? It ties into that because here it was the Queen of Queens, the Washita, the Empress that ruled it, and it was a matrilineal society. So the matrilineal society and everything like that was right here, and it was called the Minion of a Mexim. Well, what we call it, you know, in our terms is Axum. It's the same word, a Mexim and Axum. You know what I'm saying? So this was the Dominion, and the tribes that was here was misnamed Indians, but they was the Pianki Shaw. They made up the Illini Confederation, the Pianki Shaw, the Kaskaskia. They made up because Pianki father was named Casca.
I think a lot of times the brothers and sisters in the Caribbean had a chance to reaffirm themselves because they were the dominant people on those islands. We were not the dominant people in this mass island that they call America, the mainland. We were not the majority of people in this land.
These people are waiting for the appearance of a living legend. Ministers of government, ambassadors and their wives, princes of the church. By now they've probably lost count of the number of times they've waited here at Addis Ababa airport for the same extraordinary man. In a moment, he will step from the door of this aircraft to a scene that's even more familiar to him. And here he comes, the legend in person. One of the world's best known figures and faces, and one that most of us know least about. Father figure of modern Africa and relic of a vanishing world, feudal despot and reforming monarch, one of the last claimants to the divine right of kings, the legendary descendant of King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba. His Imperial Majesty, Haile Selassie I, conquering lion of the tribe of Judah, elect of God, King of kings, Emperor of Ethiopia.
I read Psalm 9, those who know it can say. When I read Psalm 9 with the understanding that this is a coronation psalm. That when His Majesty was crowned 1930, this is what everyone chants. I will praise Thee, O Lord, with my whole heart. I will show forth all Thy marvelous works. I will be glad and rejoice in Thee. I will sing praise to Thy name, O Thou Most High. So
our culture has been stripped from us a little bit more, I would say a lot more. The fact that we had to struggle so hard to reaffirm our identity is something that is unique to the melanated man in this part of the world compared to the island, where there wasn't that many settlers, plantation people to really enforce European culture. We almost had to be 2 or 3 people at a time to reaffirm our culture, but to exist in this society.
Is there a possibility the openings on the city council might be filled by blacks this time?
Well, there's one opening now. With the new mayor being appointed, it leaves one open, and we feel that being that we represent at least 50% of the population, that we should at least have 2 people on the council. The council had the opportunity to appoint 2 blacks, but now they have pretty well turned that opportunity down.
To reaffirm our culture, but to exist in this society. So the difference is just the conditions and the fact that we're sort of a smaller group in a larger dominant culture, and the assault on our culture has been overwhelming.
And to sort of to help them over the transition. But when the transition was over, welfare then would be reduced. So you would have expansion or contraction of welfare and expansion or contraction of health from the state related to the political nature of what's going on.
That's connected to your humanity, and that's something that I've always tried to maintain. And maintaining my dignity, not your pride. There's a difference between pride and self-respect. There's a difference between pride and dignity, you know what I'm saying? Your dignity is directly connected to your conduct. I'm talking about, it's reflected in how much respect you show other people.
As well as fair representation is that a very competent attorney, an attorney with some experience in handling these particular cases, that he can receive a fair trial.
Well, how did you become involved in this thing? Wasn't Mr. Myers retained by the Randolph family to represent the accused?
That is something that I am myself and other action members are to investigate. We find it very, very strange that Myers becomes so interested in black people all of a sudden after his past experience on the police force demonstrated race hatred.
You got people growing up thinking there's something wrong with their hair being matted, something wrong with their features being broad or their skin being dark. And those are the things that are at the root of our lack of cohesiveness, because we're still fighting over our identity. And I think the fight is a lot more stronger in America than it is over in the islands, where you can almost kind of move away from the day-to-day mainstream of the island life and kind of move out to the woods. There's no woods here that we can really move into. These people, the media assault, the cultural assault on us, the economic assault on our culture has always been. So it puts us in a different position. We relate to things a little differently than, say, our brothers and sisters. Although we're the same people, I would say our brothers and sisters from the island. We relate to things differently.
Black Liberation Day. Black Liberation Day. Oh, what a great day that must be when Africa is free. Oh, what a great day that must be when Africa is free. So now is the age of verifying. People want to actually verify for themselves, so that way they can know. One of the greatest powerful parts of church, even when I was a youth going to church, AME Church, Bethel AME back in Macon, Missouri. Testimony. When people came up and testified to the Lord, that's one of the most powerful parts. Because people are telling you they don't believe God loves them. They know God loves them. They don't believe thyself. They don't say believe thyself. It says know thyself.
Hidden in the mountains from the Muslim invasion, the emperors and priests of Ethiopia kept the Christian faith alive. Here in the 12th century, the Emperor Lalibela carved out of the rock the churches of what he hoped would be a New Jerusalem. It was the empire's capital for 100 years and came to be known as Lalibela after its creator. 800 years later, Haile Selassie was to come here to pray for deliverance from Italy's invasion of his country. At the worst moment of his life, it was his way of declaring his ultimate faith in the God who was so essential to his empire's tradition. A tradition that the monks of Lalibela still voice in a haunting mixture of orthodox plain chant and African rhythm.
What they bring. This man here. Going to Atlanta to have the IAMWE, and we're tired of going to Miami. Those are the two closest places. One ride is probably 9 hours to get to Atlanta, probably 18 to get to Miami. Is that right, Baba Ken? About 18. We just decided that, you know, every time it's come time for our holy days, we should go to Miami, go to Atlanta. But there's a lot of Rastas here. Why are we going to Miami and Atlanta? We're here. Okay, we know the things to do, but it's taking it up on the shoulder and say, yes, we have to do it here. It's nation building. Is it easy? No. Sometimes it's just 3 of us there drumming all night, you know. But we send the word out. Okay, those 3 are what you call the cornerstones. We need one more because every foundation needs at least 4 good cornerstones. Hold up the pillars. We need cornerstones. We need cornerstones. These are the cornerstones I'm looking at right here. These are cornerstones. Everyone right here is engaging in nation building. It's not even 2012 yet. The Mayan calendar, you know, but we already have that vision and we see it coming. You know, Garvey vision will not die. Garvey vision will not die. And if it takes 2,000 years, I didn't include this as part of the speech, but it's in rough right now. There's a speech Garvey made when he was incarcerated in Atlanta prison.
Will the spirit of the black man return?
It has to. He has to. He doesn't have a choice. He is needed now more than ever. There's such a void between our older people and our younger people. There's such a void with just direction and overall discipline in our community, where it seems like our young people have just run amok. They don't have anything to constrain or restrain or to limit what they want to do. They seem to do whatever society make available to them. Getting back to your question, yes, I think the black man is making a comeback now. That's why we're here. STL Rasta. That's why we're here to communicate and raise these questions as far as what's going on with the black man.
This is Garvey. Our day may be 50, 100, or 200 years ahead, but let us watch, work, and pray, for the civilization of injustice is bound to crumble and bring destruction down upon the head of the unjust. My work is just begun, and when the history of my suffering is complete, the then future generation of Negro will have in their hands the guide by which they shall know the sins of the 20th century. In life or death, I shall come back to you to serve you, even as I have served before. In life, I shall be the same. In death, I shall be a terror to the foes of Negro liberty. If death has power, then count on me in death to be the real Marcus Garvey I would like to be. If I may come in an earthquake, or a cyclone, or a plague, or a pestilence, or as God would have me, be assured that I shall never desert you and make your enemies triumph over you. Look for me in the whirlwind or in the storm. Look for me all around you. For with God's grace, I shall come and bring with me countless millions of black slaves who have died in the Americas, in the West Indies, and the millions in Africa to aid you in the fight for liberty, freedom, and life.
There's so many different attributes. Everything that's not quite, I guess before I say that, I'll say that there's many great divine attributes that are worthy of living. You know, you can't say sharing without saying caring. You can't say caring without sharing. You know, because sharing is caring. And man and woman has grown to be with man and compete in the job site now, where it's not the thing where nobody depends on nobody no more. Everybody's independent now. Women are independent. You know, there's a few cases that's not the case, but most generally, women now got it going on, making money, thriving, particularly in the black community, because women are the most, both womb and man. And she's got it going on, and respect that. But now, even in all of that independence, you know what I'm saying, as men and women now, we still have to work interdependently. We have to work together, you know what I'm saying? And that's very, very, very important. To get back to what you're saying, how we're all on the same street, is that here we all speak English. We agree to these words, even though it's not native to our DNA.
I'm godly to bestow, to behold thought flow, the power of black holes in the cosmos. Yo, we hold gold rise honorable. I will open up portally votes. It's like lightning bolts imprinted on clouds like strolls. I let the ink pour shining like rainbows of red, green, and gold. I'd rather send a memo on the toe of a black crow throughout the airway radio to let them know we're spiritually unbreakable, physically invincible, like Haile, Selassie, and Simeon Toko in the ghetto of the Congos, where popos can't even try to kick down the door nor blast with those 4-4 barrels, cause guess what? Our verbal voodoo is like Marie Laveau.
When I think about Marcus Garvey, like most brothers and sisters here in the pits of North America, you know, I'm very inspired, and you know, whenever we hear that word Negro, we, you know, though as we've grown in consciousness, we have to deal with it. I know for Zaki, when he was starting his organization that modeled after the UNIA, which, by the way, I salute you, brother, for years, you know, Zaki.
Secondly, I don't want to forget this. My brother, I'm so glad to hear, if I'm not mistaken, that you were in Ethiopia.
Yes, I was in Ethiopia.
Rastafari, I've been blessed too, because one of the things that you made mention in terms of us giving back to Africa, one best way to give back to Africa is everyone in here. And if it needs to be you, we working together, Ken, needs to take a pilgrimage. Every black person here needs to have a pilgrimage back to the continent if we're serious.
The second largest continent is an area of almost 12 million square miles in size. It is comprised of 50 independent countries and populated by over 537 million people who speak over 1,000 languages and dialects. For eons, Africa's wealth has been a magnet that has attracted the entire world. The continent has been plundered for its vast mineral and human resources. Traditional historians have viewed this land as one of primitive savages who slept through the millennia, contributing little to the cultural legacy of mankind. The facts, however, tell a different story. Scholars and scientists now concede that Africa is the birthplace of mankind. Africans were the first builders of civilization. They discovered mathematics, invented writing, developed sciences, engineering, medicine, religion, fine arts, and built the Great Pyramids.
This is the hub. That means if you're in Louisiana, if you're in Arkansas, all neighboring states is going to rally here. This is the hub. We want this to be the hub of the Nile movement in America.
We were already here. We was already here. And when the civilizations was destroyed within different floods and different times of Noah and all that, we was taken up from here. Because the people that's over there from the Mound City and the City of the Sun and everything, they didn't never see death. And they left 300 years before any Europeans came because they already knew the prophecy and the tablets was left here. You know what I'm saying? Missouri was called, it's just like Moses. It was called Massa. You know what I'm saying? Massa, Missouri is the name from the ancient Messiah, so Massa, and all that.
Native name.
Yeah, and that's here. And this was the empire here. When Selassie went to Jamaica, he said, we're not just because we're one, you know what I'm saying, we're black people, but we're from the same empire. And when he was talking about the Arawa Indians and the indigenous tribes, Jamaica is a branch of this land. The land was split, just like Haiti and all of them. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't a different culture. The biggest landmass was here. The reason why Africa stood, it stayed in its place, you know what I'm saying? And all the other landmass changed. This was the ancient land of Al-Camoria, what we call Lemuria, and Excellent, or what some call Atlantis. You know what I'm saying? So the Great Lakes and everything, they got pyramids.
And I'm so pleased to see you because you are like a Garvey.
Garvey offered Black Star Line stock for sale in 1919, promising his investors liberation and large profits.
How they say Malcolm X's father was a Garvey.
Congolese have been massacred by white people in the Congo for years and years and years. And if the shoe is now on the other foot, only thing I can say is it's like chickens that always come back home to roost.
I know, just to see the elder in our presence, I salute you and bringing the youth, because that's what we need more than anything. We need to see man, woman, and child, because when there's too much man with locks, they're quick to say, oh, it's a bunch of, and they'll run in and attack and kill. And they say, yeah, there were a bunch of, but when man, woman, and child is represented, they see an order. Okay, and when the ancients and the gray-headed and the youth, they see that all is family. And that's how it looks in Jamaica when you go there, you know? Right. You know?
We're going to do a libation, you know? So at this time, I'm going to take this cup. Let's start with the youth. We're going to pass it around. Everybody pour your love into the cup. Okay? Water is the one thing that we're made of. It's the one thing that holds current, vibes, energy. So you pump your love into this water, and as it goes around, you collect it, we pour out libation for those same brothers that you mentioned earlier, Honorable Marcus Mosai brother. Put your love in the cup, whatever comes to your mind, put your love in the cup.
Lift up your heads, O ye gates, and be ye lifted up, ye ever-living black people.
I never knew to say Rasta is. Rasta is G.O. Rasta. What is a Rasta? Who's a Rasta? Who are you? My relationship with elders, contemporaries, peers, and the ancestors, no doubt, reflect the conditioning and the consciousness in which we have been brought up here in Babylon, on the belly, by going through it and dealing with men and working with men and not working with men. Men seeking an identity, dealing with themselves. I have learned and dealt with broken spirit. Powerful men, powerful God, powerful energies. To the ancestors, to those entities, to those mistakes and transgressions that I may have made out of knowledge or indoctrination, I will forever be paying for that. In this life and maybe the lives to come. But what I hope at this moment, at this exact moment of realizing and recognizing that how I've been raised and how I've been bred is not right. And wanting to, and having a yearning to reconnect with the natural order, the love order, the God order, Jah order, Krishna order. I pray for that. I seek your forgiveness, and I forgive those that may have wronged me psychically, spiritually, physically, mentally.